Okay, I think we can start. Sorry for the delay. As always, we face some technical and logistic difficulties. This is our first webinar, so I hope you'll understand why we had these difficulties. But anyway, my name is Nick. As many of you probably know, I'm the co-founder of BitBag, a company that develops projects on top of Sylius only. We do have a lot of plugins, one of it which is the Sylius content management system, which I'm about to share with you right now. You can find this CMS plugin on our GitHub repository, which I strongly encourage you to visit. There are many of, as I mentioned, many of plugins in there, including some payment gateways, some shipping export management system, a MailChimp integration, or some work in progress plugins. Also, I encourage you to read our blog, which you will find on the website. It has some nice Sylius related topics, and follow our social media for more interesting things about Sylius. Anyway, what I'm going to share with you today is all of the Sylius content management plugin features, including the installation process, what is in there, what it's not yet, what can you do with it, and how to use it. I'm gonna skip the installation process because I strongly believe that everyone is already familiar with the composer and how to include a bundle in the Sylius. If not, you will find it in our README, and I'm quite sure that it works. I already have the CMS plugin installed on my local environment. Actually, this is what you will find on the demo page, and the reference to the demo of the CMS is also included in the README file. And what it is here is the server started from the plugin environment that you can install from the Sylius GitHub repository. If you don't know it yet, here it is. It's the plugin skeleton. It contains the Sylius standard platform edition with a Symfony app that you can run from the test application directory, like each Symfony or Sylius standard edition. Anyway, after you install the plugin and go to the admin dashboard, you'll find out that there are some of new tabs coming in. These are blogs, pages, frequently asked questions, and sections. I'm going to start with blogs. And what blogs are is just a simple instance of a manageable thing that you can hardcode in your template. Blogs can have its own type. Currently, only 3 types are supported. This is the text block and HTML block, which you can use, for instance, to include a phone number or I don't know, jingle reference in case of HTML. And there is also an image block, which, as you probably can guess, can contain an image. Let me start with the simplest one, the text block. And here's how you can create it. Let me just give it a test. Test code. Each block can have associated product to it, so it has a one-to-many relation to product. So actually many-to-many relation, because many products can be associated with many blocks. So in the future, it allows you to render specific blocks by a product. It also has a reference to a section. I'm gonna skip the what section right now and go back to it later as we go through the section tab. You can give it a name, for instance, a text block name, and some content like I am a text block. After you create it, you should have it in your admin panel right here. What can you do next with this text block is you can render it in your tweak template. by using either a specific controller or a tweak filter, which I'm going to show you right now. In my text application app resources Sylius shop bundle, I do have an overridden index page. And yeah, as you can see here, you can use the BitBag CMS render block tweak filter, which takes a code as a parameter here, and it should be enough to render the text block by its code here. You can also use the render by the render controller, which differs from the tweak filter, which the only difference between the tweak filter and the controller is that in the controller you can pass a specific template to the as a parameter, which means that that you are not forced to use the specific template, and you can use it as a controller if you wish. Yeah, so it's up to you for the use case. But if you need something simple, you can use the text block. As you can see here, it has been rendered correctly on the home page. And now if I change something, I am a new text block, it will be changed as well on the home page. And this is the most basic use case of yeah, I am the new text block. And of course, as the session is shared between admin panel, also the flash message has been displayed here. Okay, so this is the basic use case of the text block, which you can use on the storefront. Now I'm going to show you the HTML block. The only difference between the text block and the HTML block is that if you display a HTML block, like you do with the text block, it uses the raw HTML tweak filter and renders everything you pass in here as HTML or a JavaScript. So be careful with it, because you can cross-site script through it. If you do not trust your content management, you better secure it in a better way. So let me pass it a test HTML block code. This time I'm not going to associate any products with it, and here I'm going to create a tag and say hello world in it. Pass name to it. Yep, it has been created once again. Now I'll copy the tweak filter like I did previously. Here I do have two renders of the first text block and the HTML block, and now you should see on the home page, yeah, a nice hello world printed in the h1 tag, as you can see here. Yeah. Also, everything you pass into it, like a style, reference, color, let me like this. Hope I have not made any mistake in it. Yep, should be also rendered in. Yeah, so if your content management team knows HTML and CSS, it should be fine. They should be fine with dealing with the HTML blocks. This is quite important if you want to render some dynamic content on the sliders or something where you mostly need an H1 and the paragraph combination of tags, and you are and text blocks are not enough for these tags. The other block we do have right now in our content management system, as I already mentioned, are the image blocks. They are a little bit more complicated than the text and image block, but the way you create them is quite similar. So here What's more important, here you do have the combination of the name link and image fields, which means that if you pass a name to it, which is not required by default, it will be displayed with an H2I, as far as I remember, tag. If you pass a link to it, like, I don't know, BitBag.shop, the image will be referencing to the specific link. If none of these things will be created, you will only have the nice image. It's implemented like this in the image block. Yeah. Like an HTML template, and as you can see, if the block name is null or the link is also blank, it's only showing the image template, yeah, which is only the reference to the image type, and it contains all of these three fields combination to provide you a nice nice touch of what can be displayed in the HTML. Of course, each of these things can be overridden like in every Sylius app. So as I'm going to show you right now, I have what's this? Let me upload another image. Yep, here it is. And now I can display it as each block in the HTML or a Twig template on homepage like this, yeah. So basically you can also pass a nice responsive CSS to it, override the template to use, I don't know, the imagine filters. But what you do get outside of the box for the black functionality is something you can use on your homepage or a contact page to provide some nice dynamic content in your e-commerce, which is not provided by default in Sylius. The next thing I'm going to show you right now are the pages which are nothing different from another pages you know from another content management systems or e-commerces. These in Sylius, of course, they do have a code, can also have products and sections associated to it. What's more important about products here is that you can associate products with a page and display them below the page, which is interesting if you are writing a blog post and want to refer the blog post to some specific products. You can pass a name to it, of course, a Slack as well. Oh, that's why it's not. Also meta tags, meta description, which are not required. And some content which also can be displayed as raw HTML. And you can display this page with a specific US. A specific Slack. Wait a sec, please. It's, of course. Oh, what was the root? Just let me check it because I forgot what was the prefix to the pages CMS plugin. Slack. This page. Yep. Pages page. Okay. There's something wrong with the Slack. I don't know why it's not generated. Why it's not generated automatically. It has been working in the previous version. Let me just check another page which I have included in the fixtures. For instance, a page Slack. Yep. There was something wrong with the Slack because I have included the slashes into it and it was not trimmed. But as you can see, you can create a page. It also has a section associated to it, and it can have some products related to it, as I have showed you before. Yeah, this is the page. It has some HTML content associated to it, as well as products and sections. Yeah, so basically this is a nice page object that you can use to write some either blog content, about pages, or whatever you want in the Sylius store. The other interesting thing is the frequently asked questions section, which is just a basic section about questions and answer. It can also hold a position. I'm not going to create a new one because there are plenty of existing ones, and it makes more sense to show you more questions instead of one that will be created right now. But as each Sylius resource, it can take a code. It also has a position field here, which is used for sorting. You can associate a question and answer. Of course, each of these fields is translatable, so it depends on the configured locale in the store. And what you can use it for is you can display all these sections right here listed in your store. Yeah, here are some nice questions and answers sorted by position. And this is basically everything you can use the frequently asked questions for. And now I'm going to show you what sections are, because this is also a nice thing to know, especially if you want to provide a blog in your e-commerce. You can create a section called blog, for instance, like I already did. Here it is. It's a simple resource with a code and name. But what's more important, as you have seen before, you can associate blocks and pages with the sections. And then, for instance, in the blog case, you can associate a page with a specific section, which should be displayed here. Yeah, it is. And then on the home page, you can render a link to all of the sections, all of the pages included in the section. So for instance, it could be a blog, yeah? And here you have all of the blog posts associated to the specific section. You can also then browse all of these pages here. And yeah, and this is what sections are used for in the case of pages. In the case of blocks, you can create another section, for instance. Let me just check what sections we do have here. You can have a homepage section, which is unsurprisingly a basic resource, and then you can associate the sections with homepage as well. Let me just find the test block we have created before. Let it be the hello world again. Then you can add the homepage section to it. And then on the homepage template again, you can render, where was it? Under CMS block, okay. You can render, it was a control. Let me check in the docs. It was an example of how to render by section index of blocks index by section code. Here this is an example of how you display blocks by the section code. You use for it on a simple controller, pass the section code as a parameter. Here I do have a homepage code. Let me just remove the previous ones. And now if I go to the homepage, I should also see the hello world block. Yes, here it is, and some other blocks that are associated with the section. Yeah. Well, it's useful, for instance, when you want to display something on the product view, like for instance, we did in the fixtures here. For instance, it could be a size table, yeah, which is generic to products depending on what's your store about, but you can add some blocks to the specific products. And yeah, this is what it's used for. The other things about the content management plugin that you might also be interested in is that everything you can see in the code and from Sylius, like the entity customizations, like a block, you can extend this simple model and do whatever you want with it. For instance, add another title to it, an image or something. It's also written in the BDD way, so you don't, if you will customize it and use our BHAT scenarios, you should not face any regression working with it. And it's used for many of our projects. The first one we have used it for and actually built it for is the boutique Jean-Franco Pierre, which is a French chief, and as you can see, it works here quite well. Here we have used an image block combinations with the HTML to provide a nice slider. Some of the news are also managed by the blocks. Here are some blocks for specific products. And on the bottom, of course, here is another banner, which is just separated into 3 blocks. This is an image block, this is an HTML, and in the background is another image block. And here you do have a combination of some links that are also, most of them are managed by the content management system. And by the way, here's our newsletter, MailChimp newsletter integration in the footer as well. So this is everything more or less the content management system is used for. I encourage you to leave us a star on GitHub, provide us some feedback. Sorry for the technical difficulties and that you had to wait for it. I hope you enjoyed it, and maybe if you do have some questions, I can answer them right now. Once I find the tab of, here it is, of the Google Hangout. So, do you have any questions about the plugin? I believe I should see them here. Okay, I guess there are no questions. Anyway, if you do want to contact me, you can do it either by pinging me on Slack by using this link or writing me an email here. And yeah, so thank you for your attention. Hope you will enjoy it and just have a great week. So bye.